welcome to yet another edition of Digital Dialogues by Maritime Gateway. Today we have with us Mr. Bhavik Chinai, Group CEO, BVC Logistics. BVC Logistics is a conglomerate into logistics, security, trading, and investments. Mr. Bhavik is also the chairman of Vamaship, the world's first integrated logistics platform. Mr. Bhavik has academic exposure from Harvard, London School of Economics, Indian School of Business, Singularity University, and Narsi Monji. During his academics, he interned in logistics companies for on-ground exposure to freight forwarding of general cargo, perishable cargo, and CFS operations. Alongside, Mr. Bhavik worked with several companies and projects in venture capital and event management for broad exposure before joining his family business, BVC Group, full-time in 2013. At BBC, Mr. Bhavik learned valuable cargo logistics and rapidly expanded BVC's Indian branch network from 8 to over 30 in 4 months. He initiated a joint venture between BBC and Brinks Incorporated, an American listed entity with operations in over 100 countries, and within 2 years, the joint venture became a market leader, controlling the logistics of 55% of India's export and import of diamonds and jewelry. Over the last 7 years, Mr. Bhavik has led the strategic expansion of the group and has expanded the team strength from less than 200 to over 1,250 individuals in over 50 cities of India, Singapore, and Hong Kong. Beyond expansion, Mr. Bhavik focused on professionalizing all BVC entities, bringing professional teams from across industries, creating stronger systems and processes, and integrating technology. Today, the family operates as board members in core entities, evolving from decision makers in day-to-day operations. Alongside BBC, Mr. Bhavik launched Vamaship in 2015, and within 24 months, Vamaship became a platform for shipping of any commodity through air, ocean, surface in India to over 26,000 pin codes and 200 plus countries globally. Vamaship grew to become one of India's largest tech logistics enterprises. Mr. Bhavik has stayed involved with the startup ecosystem as an active angel investor through several angel networks and invests across sectors in tech-enabled startups. The current investments are spread across security technology, crowdfunding, HR tech, telecom technology, and e-commerce. Mr. Bhavik is the president of BVC Foundation, which makes a difference to over 25,000 kids in orphanages across India, runs a blood donation drive in 20 states of India, and plants over 1,000 trees annually. Among trade bodies, Mr. Bhavik is currently the chair of Singularity University Mumbai and part of EO Mumbai, TIE, CII, and FICCI. Mr. Bhavik is passionate about spirituality, philosophy, driving, soccer, and traveling. So, Mr. Bhavik Chinai, welcome to our show.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So, let's start from the basics of your company. So, could you please give us a background about BVC Ventures, how the company was established, the various sectors in which the company today operates, and where do you plan to take the company forward?
So BBC Ventures for us is our group holding arm, in which we have businesses in logistics, in security, in technology, investments, and so on. Our core business is logistics, which is high value cargo logistics, which falls under the umbrella of BVC Logistics. That's the brand under which that operates. We have another enterprise that you mentioned, Vamaship, which is a tech aggregator for e-commerce logistics for small businesses. The BVC Logistics enterprise started in 1960. So it's been almost 60 years now, over 60 years. And for us, we started as a customs broker of only high value cargo. So this was exclusively organized exports and imports of diamonds. That's what our business started with. From there, we have evolved dramatically, and today we are a full stack logistics enterprise for high value cargo. Have operations in over 10,000 pin codes within India. We have a joint venture through which we have 130 countries where we have secure door-to-door logistics activated. Today, we work with logistics solutions for the entire value chain of diamond, of jewelry, and gold. So, working with miners, manufacturers, wholesalers, retailers, and retailers through the whole value chain. And we work with over 21,000 businesses. In terms of the future for us, we have very deep relationships and trust among the gem and jewelry community, which is a very small community. And we plan to extend our businesses beyond logistics for this community, which is significantly large as a market. Our logistics business that we're going to chat about is planning for an IPO in the coming years.
Sure, that sounds good. This precious goods business, it sounds a bit different because we keep hearing about general cargo, commodities being traded, moving through the ports, but we don't hear often about this precious goods logistics. So, could you please tell us more about how this industry functions, the logistics requirements of this sector, and what is the size of this market in India?
So our business is divided into two parts. One is international, and the second is domestic. In the domestic diamond and jewelry trade, it's the entire operations runs, and there would be very small pockets where there are no airports where there's surface secure transportation that happens. International would be a 95-5, where you have 95% getting done through air, and there would be silver bars and some type of commodities that happen by ocean. To share context, the entire secure logistics industry is slightly different in terms of the infrastructure that's required. So instead of regular trucks which operate, our entire business needs bulletproof vehicles. Instead of regular offices where you would have transit hubs, we would need vaults that are used for storage, temporary storage, and long-term storage. And similarly, even the transportation done by people, there would be gunmen who go along with every pickup team and delivery team. So it's very secure, the entire network. Even inside an aircraft, there's a separate compartment where there's air cargo for valuable cargo. Those are the compartments where valuable cargo is kept. And even at airports, there are strong rooms. So broadly, the entire network, door to door, is different from a regular general cargo shipment. Now, in terms of the size, to give export industry is close to $40 billion of diamonds getting exported every year from India. We have 600 tons of gold getting imported into India each year. There aren't too many logistics players, and all of us compare each other to the value that is getting transported. BVC handles 60% of this $40 billion that gets exported in the form of the goods of diamonds. So that's broadly one metric to determine the market size. The within India transportation also is significantly large for us, and there's billions of dollars worth cargo that moves every month.
So, how is this market? Is there a lot of competition? Is it fragmented? Do you see every now and then the new players, new startups coming in? So, how is the scenario of this market?
In terms of number of players who do secure logistics, our entire business is divided into different capabilities. So the capabilities start at cash management as one capability, where we have CMS and SIS and all these ATM management companies. Then you have the gold value chain, where you have companies like Brinks and BVC and so on, who do some secure logistics. And then you have the diamonds and jewelry, which are considered as sort of commodities in our space. So across all these three value chains, if we look at number of players, there aren't too many. There's not too much fragmentation like we see in FCL or a full truckload or any other type of logistics. In the international space, BVC is at 60%. There's another near competitor, which is an Israel-based enterprise, which has significant market share of the remaining 40. And similarly on domestic, it's almost a split between two organized players, BVC and one more. So there aren't too many players in the organized space yet. In terms of startups, we're seeing a lot of startups trying to do interesting things on the customer side, which means an example is, let's say, gold loans. Today, when you and I would walk into Muthoot or Manappuram or any of these stores, We would physically go there and we would get our gold tested and we'll get a loan against it. Startups are trying to disrupt this by making it completely branchless. So gone are the 4,500 branches, and they're trying to come to your house, do the testing right there, give you the money right there in your bank account, and then the entire logistics takes over. So these are the types of companies which are attempting this disruption, and they are succeeding fairly well. We're happy to be supporting the entire startup ecosystem. On the logistics of high value cargo, not too many startups yet.
Sir, your tagline says the infrastructure platform as a service. So, could you please elaborate a bit on this aspect?
Sure. So, in terms of infra platform as a service, we've broadly realized through the years that a lot of companies are not being able to expand their business due to a very sensitive type of infra that's required for this type of cargo, which is jewelry and diamonds. And what BVC has built is an entire infrastructure network where each and every business can literally plug into the network and start securely storing, securely transporting, and consume any type of trade transaction with absolute peace of mind. So we built an entire platform which allows any jeweler to export or import to 130 countries. Could be $25 million, 150 crore rupees in one shipment, could be as low as $200, which is 15,000 rupees in one shipment. The entire range of solutions. Similarly, we have storage solutions across the country. So no one has to go and build physical vaults anywhere in the country. Bank lockers are always in shortage. So there aren't enough alternatives. So we've built this entire platform, which we allow any business to expand in an absolutely asset-light way. Just to share an example, the doorstep gold loan that we were speaking about, Rupeek and India Gold and these startups, they currently initially had to go to every city and set up their own office, set up their own vaults, and do the entire process of operations. And post partnering with BVC, they have been able to expand to any new city in the country with zero cost whatsoever. They literally just share a name of a city, and BVC has the entire operation set up. So someone is able to expand and disrupt other markets without being personally present there. Similarly, B2B side, individuals used to travel with gold and jewelry inside their sort of hand carry in flights and then take it all the way to buyers, which is completely changed to secure logistics being available. So our platform allows any jeweler to transport crores of rupees worth jewelry without having to worry about any security risk or risk of other types. And there are several other examples in terms of e-commerce as well, where we have the cost of shipping jewelry, the low value jewelry in e-commerce is significantly high. It could cost between $40 to $50 at the minimum to ship one ring, which could be, let's say, $200 item. The only way to make this cheaper is to store goods in US or one of the consuming nations, and then from there you run the entire last mile. So you ship in bulk and then you start breaking into parts. So we have a fulfillment center in New York where we have this entire operation. E-commerce companies are shipping to our fulfillment center. We do the pick and pack and last mile. We have different solutions for this segment. So we've built infrastructure and allowed and built a platform on top to allow anyone to plug into it and expand their business.
So, in this sector, do the customers have some specialized requirements? Do they need any customized solutions?
Oh, well, almost every second day we have some form of conversation with some type of customer who's looking at doing something new. Jewelry has been around for maybe 1,000, 2,000 years now. Started with beads all the way and the organized trade today. The broad categories in which we are seeing some unique requirements is one on the side of enabling sales. Second is on the side of just being able to reach more customers, so execution of sales. And then there are some allied challenges post sale. In terms of enabling sale, as an example, we spoke of e-commerce logistics, jewelry being very expensive to ship. It used to cost between $100 to $200 to ship one small piece because of the minimum cost of infrastructure and security. BVC has been able to work very deeply to bring this down from $100 to almost $20. We have also created a solution where shipping jewelry is cheaper than shipping documents on India Post. So these are the kind of things that we have to invent from scratch for these challenges and needs of customers, where they want to ship for $20. They want to ship thousands of dollars worth jewelry fully insured for $20. How do you make it happen? So that's where we work backward. Similarly, one big requirement which is very unique is sales to extremely remote locations within India and across the world. So you would have a lot of new customers that wholesalers have, who would be in Fiji, who would be in Maldives, who would be in some village in India, and they would want secured logistics there. And no player really offers that. So these are the type of requirements which come up, which for us becomes an opportunity to then expand our coverage. So now we're in 10,000 pin codes across the country with bulletproof vehicles and gunmen and the whole security. A bunch of other requirements which come up when anyone travels for a wedding, and you would also possibly have experienced there's a lot of jewelry which goes with the guests and with the bride, and all this jewelry is sort of, in any destination wedding is a lot of risk involving carrying all this jewelry. So we've created a solution for that. So weddings is one, exhibitions is a completely different need altogether. Duty free import schemes are something that, how do you do the customs clearance for those products? Fulfillment center for commodities like diamonds, which is very difficult to store. Viewing centers where wholesalers invite buyers and they don't want the infrastructure. So bunch of different needs that keep coming up, and it's a very interesting sector and continuously evolving despite its age.
We have been through two waves of the pandemic in the past 1.5 years, and every sector has seen its share of impact. So, what has been the impact to your sector, and what is the current scenario? Is it back to business as usual, or how is the scenario?
Sure. So on COVID-19, the international and the domestic, the within India consumption and international consumption have two very different stories. After lockdown one, after April and May, every secure logistics company was thinking of pivoting, because in non-essentials, diamonds is the last on the list. And that's broadly what was the observation for the coming years. The stimulus package changed everything because consumers in US, which is the primary consumption nation, could not invest or spend money on services, which means restaurants or travel and these other forms of services we consume. They were spending on goods, and within goods as well, because fashion as a category is something that people are not being able to use. They are not going out. Jewelry became an investment product and a consumption product, which experienced a surge like no time in the past. You will be surprised that despite the pandemic, diamond companies have had the best year in history in 2020-21. In 9 months, they've done more turnover and more profit than their historic years. 21-22 is been now 4 months, 4.5 months. It looks like 21-22 will be even better than 2021. So what has happened for the international space is absolutely surprising for everyone. Any diamond people we meet, it's sort of, what just happened, but that's the reality. On the domestic side, though, it's not exactly as rosy. The lockdowns hit severely. Retail stores were shut, so they had inventory that could not be sent back, or they didn't have reorders. So then the whole value chain, the manufacturing, wholesale, everyone got impacted by it, and BVC as a result of that. Post lockdown one, between September to December, we experienced a surge, almost 120% year on year growth on the domestic consumption. Post lockdown two, that surge hasn't come in yet. But with the wedding season coming in, everyone expects a revival. So it's a mixed bag for BVC. On the international, we grew 60% year on year. On domestic, we declined, but part of the whole journey.
You had just mentioned about the planning for an IPO during our initial discussion, and also tell us about your vision 2022.
In 2019, when BVC started its 60th year, that's when we launched our new vision, which was to make shipping the competitive advantage of 30,000 businesses by March 22. We were at that point in time at 15,000 customers, 15,000 businesses for whom we were making shipping, we were enabling shipping. And we really have reinvented despite COVID and primarily due to it. And we now are proud to share that by shipping with BVC, a customer literally can claim a competitive advantage because of the whole experience that someone has. We have grown to 21,000 businesses now, and we are in the direction of reaching 30,000. The two hiccups on domestic lockdowns were a challenge. So for us, the vision hopefully gets achieved. There was certainty of it. Now the probability is slightly lower, but we're working hard. On the IPO side, the vision was to become IPO ready, and the vision wasn't to do an IPO. But given the quantum of liquidity that we have in public markets, we are foreseeing and planning to look at the IPO relatively soon. It's an irreversible decision, so we're going to take time and deliberate over it before jumping into it. But it is on the cards, and if not 22, it will happen in the near future.
That's great, sir. We wish you all the best with your growth plans, and we hope you mark new milestones as you proceed further. That will be all from our side. Mr. Bhavik Chinai, thanks a lot for taking your time and joining with us on the show. Thank you, sir.
Thanks so much. My pleasure.